Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to Tea with JD. And today we're going to talk about Shadow of a Human. But to show you how sophisticated this is, let's show you how I'm going to do the thumbnail. So, let's see, leave some space. So yeah, second 24. So, Shadow of a Human is by me. And it's actually the second novel of the human cycle, and I've been meaning to talk about it for months, but things have been crazy, and I've procrastinated on that. It's not been crazy. I've done I don't know how many videos, so yeah, I just haven't gotten to this video. Shadow is book 2 of the human cycle, which is my fictionalized exploration of humanity, or exploration of humanity through fiction. Let's say it the second way better. See? No editing. It takes place 2 years after the first book, but a lot of you might have not read the first book. So, short intro to Only Human, which is the first book of the human cycle. Only Human has Nathaniel Reynolds, who is a disgruntled reporter who pretty much despises life and the point of life where he is. Hates his job, wants to be a writer, isn't doing either. His job, he's just surviving at it. For dinner, he has this pathetic pretzel. And when things can't get any lower for him, he gets abducted. When he wakes up, he realizes that a vampire abducted it. And he asked, so yeah, how you feeling? Because you got me worried there for a second, because I need you to save the world. Whilst Nathaniel is freaking out, Daniel of Montreux, whom is the vampire who abducted him, says, don't worry, if you don't want to cooperate, I'll just kill you, and that way we can settle this affair. It's like, no, we're going to save the world. So, as he saves the world and pursues that, a lot of things happen. I can't get into detail because I hate spoilers. But this book takes place 2 years after the aftermath of the first book. If you've read the first book, the only thing I'm going to ask is please read the sample that is available on Amazon to see if you're intrigued. I'm not saying buy it, I'm saying give it a shot. Nathaniel sees that there is a cost to the powers that he received when they unlocked cardinal points. I'll do a video talking about the concepts, the major concepts in the human cycle, including cardinal points. But by unlocking those cardinal points, he was able to have special abilities, special powers, so on and so forth. And he's also able to travel within dreams, and here we take it a step further. He can travel within realms. How? We'll have to find out. It is a hell of a lot darker. And as an author, all the goals that I set out for this book, I achieved. It's a tighter write, it's a more direct write. Every chapter ends in a way that you go, damn, I'll have to read a couple more pages. Sorry, not sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. It's a more balanced book. Everyone gets their on-air time. Everyone gets developed further, and characters that I thought that I had not done them justice, they do come back. Several characters do come back, so you can learn more about them. But there are new characters as well, and I'm able to develop them well as well. Well. Amongst my favorites are the Chiyo, whom appears in Japan. A lot of not a huge portion, but a nice chunk of the book does take place in Japan. Not in your typical places. I did research different places where I could do something different. It turns out that there is Therian Horde. Therians, there are no werewolves. There are Therians. Therians comes from the Greek therion, which is wild animal. Henceforth, shapeshifters are Therians. Brief explanation so you don't get too lost, although you might get lost anyways. There's a Therian horde in Japan called the Kitsune werefoxes. And Juno actually is friends with Nathaniel, and he sends him a note, and Nathaniel has to go from where he is to Japan. Lady Chiyo is somewhere abouts, and she was a lot of fun to bring to life, and the potential for that character is pretty cool. And another character I really enjoyed writing was I'm a Saint. And this is spoiler free, these are just names. But Amma is actually a black angel, and by black I mean not Caucasian. Very fun to write. And Amma is actually in a place that's neither here, earth, nor hell, nor heaven. It's a lot more complicated than that, and I explain it a lot more in this book. It sets up a lot of things for the last book, but it's just a tighter write, and I felt a lot more comfortable. The first book took 6 to write, 7 an extra year to edit and transcribe. This one took 2 years. We'll see how long the last one takes. I should be starting to write a bit further down this year. I'm starting the research rounds, so stay tuned. But Shadow, if you look at the series, there's 3 books. It was gonna originally be 4 books. I thought about it, and 3 books made a lot more sense with the things that I wanted to explore and how I wanted to explore them. The first book deals with the physical impact, mainly on Nathaniel and the things that he has to face. This one is a lot more about the psychology, his mind. And so that means that the third book has to deal with the soul. That's a spoiler. But yeah, as you can imagine, this is very dark and deals with a lot of topics that are, and will be important to me for as long as I live. And I did want to do a more diverse cast because I had the desire, not because oh my god, people are doing. No. I read my book and I said, man, I need to show diversity in a couple of different ways, and not your typical ways, and not like token characters. And that's why I enjoy the Lady Chiyo so much. An old Asian woman that's not the typical dragon lady, and Amma, a black angel, who is a very complex character and a lot of fun to write as well. So yeah, all of those things do make for what I believe is a big step forward as a writer. I do hope that for the third book, I can take it up as high of a level, because it all intertwines. You have to read the books in sequence. You have to read, if you want the whole theory inside this noggin, you have to read all 3 books. And what people would consider plot holes or loose ends in one book are what I call opportunities, and I do look back at several things from the first book here, and I tie it in a way that I'm very happy with. It's a lot more emotional, a lot. There are sections that were written very raw, and that the intention is for, the goal is to make you cry. I do think that I've made a couple of people cry, and that to me is a weird way. It's a weird compliment, but it's a compliment nonetheless. And I actually made someone stop eating with one of the scenes, so that's pretty cool. So there's more things that I would like to say, but it would either spoil something of this book or the first book. Needless to say, I'm a proud dad. My baby. But this is a very me book, and this series particularly is going to be very me. I think most of what I write is very me, but in terms of branching out, in terms of my philosophy of life, of what I think of gender, gender roles, of what I think of equality, of what I think of races, of what I think of the environment, of what I think of God and philosophy. This is as me as it gets. I'm not sure if there anything else that I write is going to be as personal as this, and there's a lot of me hidden within the pages. So if you're curious, by all means check out the first book and this one, and I'll put the links below, right there. I'm going to put the links to my Amazon page, and I'm going to put the links specifically to Shadow of a Human. So if you have any other questions, by all means leave me a comment, or shoot me a message in any of the other social media that I participate actively in. But for now, enjoy your tea, peace, love, and Mikey rolls.